I think the difference I have with some people is I don't think he should be gifted the starting job. I don't think he's good enough. So are you saying open competition, it has to be an open competition?
No, I would give him the leg up. I'd give Shedeur the leg up.
He's not competing for it. He just gets it.
And I would have if you want to have an open competition, fine, but I'm going to put air quotes up that entire time and throughout the entire training camp. Because if I own the Cleveland Browns, yeah, I'd want Shedeur to win the job.
And you've been wrong consistently. This is the problem with y'all. Instead of you just coming out and saying, I don't know what the heck's going to go on. You've been wrong consistently for about 8 months in a row. And every time you're wrong, you don't sit there and reflect. You come right back with another fabricated, off-the-wall conversation topic that has nothing to do with what the Cleveland Browns is doing. But this is kind of hard to run from.
What's going in there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. First of all, he came in rubbing his hands, like he was getting a plate of food. I didn't already talk to the big homie. Yeah.
And we've got to keep this conversation going about Shedeur Sanders and everything unfolding in Cleveland. Just like I said in the previous video, listen to this. A lot of people are not happy with what's happening over there. And some of the Cleveland media still seem pressed about Shedeur Sanders appearing to have a clear path to being the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. So now they're scrambling, throwing out every argument they can think of as to why that shouldn't happen. Go ahead and check this out.
Todd's excited. Shedeur's excited.
Wait. So what's that all about, though, that part of it? Because a lot of people were noting, the Ravens had the chance to draft him. And we knew about the reporting.
We didn't want to go there.
Well, so is that now officially validated? Is that what Monken's saying when he goes, well, we'll talk about that some other time?
Apparently, yeah, I guess.
Deion said that Deion didn't want... Baltimore reached out, said they were going to draft him, and they said they didn't want to go there.
I know. It's just funny that when that happened, people went after the media for even putting that story out there that Shedeur would be happy playing for anybody, that this was a media-contrived story. I found it funny that, right there, he's telling them, we tried to draft you. And then what did you make of Shedeur's reaction to all that?
I thought he was jovial to see Todd Monken. I don't remember people going after the media saying we were making that up. Do you remember that?
No.
And there's absolutely no debate about this one. And shout out to Big Ken over at 92.3 The Fan for keeping it a buck. Because listen, nobody I know was questioning the report about Shedeur Sanders and Deion Sanders turning down the Baltimore Ravens. What people were side-eyeing was the media suddenly acting like that move was a terrible idea and some kind of massive mistake.
Yeah, you want to go somewhere where you compete to be a starter. That's me. I mean, I don't play quarterback, but I hear that. Listen, I just want to go to any team where I can compete being behind Lamar Jackson, or I just want to be a starter. Where can I compete to be a starter? I think that's what Shedeur was thinking there.
Talking about Lamar Jackson's going to be probably retired with this organization. So if the backup does get in, he's in for garbage time. So I can see why Shedeur Sanders made that decision. I want to go compete for a job and get out there and play as a rookie.
Yeah, and mind you, the Cleveland Browns, who are on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to stability, right? This is the same organization that walked away from Baker Mayfield as the #1 pick in the draft. What's he gone on to do? Oh, he's only led the NFL in touchdown passes since joining the Bucs, right? How many there's been 700 starting quarterbacks in the last 20 years for the Cleveland Browns. This makes zero sense. You want to go to a good organization where you can develop and reach your potential.
But Alex, you said a key thing there about they develop quarterbacks. But if you think you don't need to develop. Now you're looking for a responsibility. He certainly doesn't think he needs developing. He thought he was going to be the first overall pick. So for him, Cleveland made more sense and guess what? I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the year if he doesn't start for the Cleveland Browns.
And so when you fast forward a few months, it's starting to look really clear that Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders made the right call. Now, some people point to the Baltimore Ravens situation and say Shedeur Sanders might have started a few games there, especially since we all know Lamar Jackson went down with an injury and the backup ended up getting real playing time. But hold up, the universe doesn't work in straight lines like that. Because who's to say that if Shedeur Sanders actually did go to Baltimore, Lamar Jackson even gets hurt in the first place? There's something called the butterfly effect, and we all know how real that is. So who's to say Lamar Jackson's injury ever happens under a different set of circumstances? And who's to say Shedeur Sanders doesn't just end up starting a couple of preseason games, and that's the end of the story?
I have my reservations, obviously, but it's so funny. The stuff that I have an issue with of him on the field, which I think anybody would, is just the cataclysmic errors during games. But he was a rookie. Rookies can make those errors. The big proving ground is coming up, right? Like it's how he's gonna get retooled, the things that Monken can do to make things easier. Like I know everybody's gonna say, well, Kevin Stefanski didn't make it easy on him at all. I'm like, well, there were a bunch of layup plays in that offense that were set for him. He just was inconsistent, and we need to get back to him finding some of the accuracy that he had in college, because he just, unfortunately, he was accurate on some deep balls, yes, but there was a lot of the intermediate throws. He's just got to get better at that stuff. And hey, rookies, they can get better. This will be year number 2. So hopefully he's going to be given more of an opportunity. I think the difference I have with some people is I don't think he should be gifted the starting job. I don't think he's good enough. And you didn't take him in the first round. Like, first round picks, there is a difference. Like, I think where he was taken, I don't think he gets a guaranteed job or anything like that.
Here's Connor Orr. Here's the other side.
If I'm Monken, I'm saying this is just my internal calculus. I've waited this long to get a head coaching job in the NFL. I am 59. This is never happening again.
Yep.
Okay. This is it. I got to make this work. I got a 5-year contract, and then it's Key West. Okay. After this, if I survive all 5 years, which I, statistically probably not going to. And so I got this quarterback over here that every team in the NFL passed up for 4 different rounds. Okay. And if I cut him and I let him go, maybe someone will pick him up. But what are the chances that that guy has a Saquon Barkley effect on me and makes me look like an idiot for cutting him? Versus, what are the chances that I'm stuck with him? I got to play him at some point. He does something in a game that makes me look stupid, or the Sanders Inc. comes in here and makes me look like, right? Like, that's how you kind of got to weigh that if you're Monken, right?
That's an interesting question. And
that's my calculus is like,
Yeah, and I agree with you. And if it was Todd Monken making that decision in a vacuum, I think it's a real debate, but I don't think it's Todd Monken making that decision in a vacuum.
Right. And I think that's part of the problem. That's how we get here.
So what does that mean? What does that little extra part mean right there?
Well, I think it just...
Are they saying that Todd Monken would move on from him if given his druthers?
If it were up to Todd Monken that this is his only shot in the league to be a head coach. Last time he was here as defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, it was one and done. That are you putting all your eggs in the Shedeur Sanders basket based on what you've seen so far?
Well, I don't think anybody but his most ardent supporters are. I want him to start week 1, but I'm not... Like, if he goes out there and he sucks during training camp and he hasn't improved at all during the offseason, well, you gotta put your best foot forward. If Deshaun Watson were clearly better, then, hey, man, I'll make the rules, but you got to try to win some football games against Deshaun Watson goes out there.
So are you saying open competition, it has to be an open competition?
No, I would give him the leg up. I'd give Shedeur the leg up.
He's not competing for it. He just gets it.
No, I don't think there's any such thing as an open competition. I think every team that has an open competition, they have a guy who they want to win it. And I would have if you want to have an open competition, fine, but I'm going to put air quotes up that entire time and throughout the entire training camp. Because if I own the Cleveland Browns, I'd want Shedeur to win the job.
And I'm absolutely with Big Ken on this one. No hesitation. If I'm the owner of the Cleveland Browns, there's zero doubt in my mind that I want Shedeur Sanders walking into next season as the starting quarterback. Let's stop the games for a second. The NFL is sports entertainment with heavy emphasis on the entertainment part. There's a reason Shedeur Sanders ended up at the Pro Bowl. Yeah, people tried to argue he didn't deserve it based purely on the stat sheet, but there's still a reason he was there. He puts fans in seats. He brings eyeballs to the TV. He moves the needle, period. Why wouldn't you give someone like that every real chance to prove he can be the starter for the Cleveland Browns? Especially when everyone knows the franchise has been handcuffed by the Deshaun Watson contract. So if you can ride out Deshaun Watson for one more season, then finally step away from that massive deal, what is it, like $45 million a year, and clear that money by 2027, now you can actually build out the rest of your roster and pay guys who earned it. Everybody knows that gives you an advantage. Look at the teams in the Super Bowl right now. You've got Seattle and you've got the New England Patriots. That's team-friendly quarterback money. And when your QB isn't eating the entire cap, you can really move. That's the exact situation the Cleveland Browns are hoping to land in with Shedeur Sanders. So it only makes sense for ownership and the organization to want Shedeur entering the season confident, feeling like he's the guy, the same way he should have felt last year. But people act like Shedeur fans are demanding something outrageous. Shedeur fans, myself included, are not delusional. All we're asking for is for Shedeur Sanders to be treated the way he should have been treated going into last season. He should have been handled like a first-round pick because he should have been a first-round pick. So I think the Browns are completely justified in treating Shedeur Sanders like a first-rounder this year. It's basically a do-over. You go into the season and hand him the playbook. You go into the season with intention. He gets first-team reps. He gets to practice with the starters. That's it. That's literally all we're asking for. After that, it's on Shedeur. He has to finish the job. We're not delusional. We understand that. That's the nature of the game. This is sports. But from how things are shaping up, it looks like Shedeur Sanders is finally going to be treated fairly inside the Cleveland Browns organization, and that's a good thing. That's just my take. As always, let me know how y'all feel in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you hype me up. And as usual, peace and chaos.